Here what we are going to do, we are going to go back to our school days. We are going to draw a ray. This is a point where we are going to start. Okay. And a ray means that there is an arrow on the other side, which means that it keeps going on. Correct. We are going to try and understand these concepts, especially the lay, using a number ray. So we're not going in the negative part. We're not going to include negative integers, obviously, only positive ones. So we're starting from 0 and now it keeps going on. So here what is happening, the distance between every two beats is going to remain the same. That is our basic given. The distance between every two beats should remain the same. So when we are talking about the concept of lay, it is a constant speed. Okay. Now here, the word constant is extremely important. We can't just say speed means lay or tempo means lay. No. A constant tempo. It should be a constant speed. So the time required for you to go from 0 to 1 should be same as the time required for you to go from 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and so on. Okay. So that becomes our lay. So this lay can change. It is an absolute concept. It is a main concept which is already there. Now from here, we can categorize this lay into 3 types according to, now we come to the speed, according to its speed. So the first is your Vilambit lay. Second is the Madhya lay. Third is our Drut lay. What happens in Vilambit lay? Vilambit lay, as we know, is the slowest tempo. So when the tempo becomes slow or the speed becomes slow, it means that the distance between two beats is going to be more. Okay. So this is your 0. For example, this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3 and so on. So this will be your Vilambit lay. Now coming to the Madhya lay, the distance between your points reduces in Madhya lay. So the beats are now coming closer together, and then we go to the Drut lay, where the beats are closer still. Now what is happening here? So the time required to say, for example, 3 beats of your Vilambit lay might be the time required to say 6 beats of your Madhya lay. Why? Because now the beats are closer together. So we are able to say more numbers, and in Drut lay you will be able to say even more numbers as compared to your Madhya and Vilambit. Now, as we go ahead, now we need to apply certain rules to this lay for it to become a tal. So what is the first rule that we apply? First rule is that we are going to fix the length. So the segment, now it has 2 endpoints, like a starting point and an ending point. Now I'm able to count the number of beats and I'm able to say that it is finite. Okay. So for example, I start from 0, and as we are talking about Trital or Teental, I'm going to write the number 16 here. So now my length is 16 beats, I'm going to say. Okay. Now the second rule which we are going to apply is that we are going to wind this segment and make it into a circle. Okay. So now I have So for example, the starting point and ending point meet over here. This I'm going to call the first beat, which is also called the sum. Now this becomes the very becomes a very important beat in the cycle, in this circle, because this is where we have to start and end. As we have applied the rule that I am going to go in a circular motion always, after I start from 1, I can't come here and end at 16. Because if I end at 16, then the circle is not going to be complete. I want this to be a closed shape, not an open shape. Okay. So the first beat becomes important. That is going to tell you where to start and where to end. Now we are going in circles. We are going from 1 to 16, 1 to 16. To make our life a little bit easier, we have divided this circle into 4 quarters. It becomes easier for us to count four times. So now where the new group is starting, we are going to mark it using a clap. Except for the 9th beat, of course, we'll come to that later. These are called khand or vibhag. Okay, we have 4 such groups. These are called khanda or vibhag. So we go 1 to 4, then 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16. 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and so on until, if ever we want to stop, we come and stop at the first beat. Now, if you look at the numbers 1 and 9, they are exactly on opposite sides of each other. Now, what does this mean? The sum is the counterpart of the khali. Okay, khali is also called kal, and khali means empty. So where there is no clap, where there is no tali, that matra becomes khali, that beat becomes khali. Now this becomes our fixed structure of the tal. So when we were talking about lay, we just wanted the distance between 2 beats to remain the same, and that's it. There was no fixed length, there was no coming back, we were just going ahead. So now that is why Laya becomes a linear concept. Linear means a straight line, something which goes on in a straight line. However, Taal becomes a circular concept where we are going round and round and coming back to our starting point. Now we know that Lay and Taal are 2 different things. When we are talking about Lay, it is an absolute concept, and when we apply certain rules to the Lay, it becomes your Taal. According to the speed of that particular Lay, we can categorize it into 3 subtypes, which we already know. We already know what Vilambit, Madhya and Drut Lay are. Counterparts of those are thought to be Barabar, Dugun and Chaugun. Now these Vilambit, Madhya and Drut, these are subjective concepts. Coming to the Taal, coming to this side, all of these concepts, your Barabar, Dugun and Chaugun, need to be understood using the operation of multiplication. To complete the operation of multiplication, the basic requirement is that we require 2 elements. We can't just have 1 element. I'll tell you, okay, chalo, multiply by 3. But you'll ask me, okay, what number should I multiply by 3? I have only 3 with me. What do I multiply it with? So you need to have a base. Okay. Now that base Lay is very important, as that is your foundation. Okay. So this becomes your base, which is going to remain constant throughout. For your Barabar, you are going to multiply this Lay by 1. For your Dugun, you are going to multiply the speed by 2. For Chaugun, by 4. So this is same. Your base is not going to change. Barabar is also known as ek gun. Okay. Now, what is this gun? Guna means multiplication. Okay. Even in Marathi, gunakar means multiplication. In Hindi, guna means times. Du guna means 2 times. Du is 2. Ek is obviously ek. Chau is 4. Okay. Chau guna, do guna, ek guna. So that is your multiplication. So whenever you are doing your Barabar, Dugun or Chaugun, you have to understand that this star which is there, this base which is there, is your entire foundation of whatever you are going to do. That is not going to change. Your base remains the same. Using that base, when you say into 1, you get your Barabar. That is when you are saying 1 syllable per 1 beat. When you come to your Dugun, you are saying 2 syllables per 1 beat. So the speed is increasing. Okay, the speed is exactly double when you are saying your Dugun. And in Chaugun, you are saying 4 syllables per 1 beat. So your speed becomes exactly 4 times that of your base lay. For your Barabar, of course, we are going to have only 1 syllable per 1 beat. Blue lines which are there, that is not going to change. That is your base lay. Okay. So now I'm saying na, dhin, dhin, na. I'm saying 1 syllable per 1 beat. So I'm saying my Barabar or saying my ek gun. Now when I switch to the Dugun, now I'm saying 2 syllables per 1 beat. So my speed has increased. Now I'm able to say more number of syllables in the same amount of time in which I was saying 16 beats. Okay. So I'm able to fit exactly 2 avartans of my Trital in the fast speed in these 16 beats which are already provided to me. And what happens when I go to Chaugun? The time required to say 1 avartan is going to decrease still because I've increased my speed. So I will be able to say 4 avartans of my Chaugun in the base lay or the base blue blanks which have been provided to me. Okay. So this is same as if you are walking to your school, for example, you're walking to your school, you require 30 minutes to walk with some, whatever your speed is. Now, when you cycle to your school in a speed which is exactly double to your pace, when you are walking, you'll require 15 minutes because your speed has doubled, your time has decreased. And if somebody is driving you to school and like you're driving in a speed which is exactly double to your cycling speed, you are going to reach your school in 7.5. So as your speed is going to increase, the time required to reach your destination is going to decrease. Same concept is going to apply to our Barabar, Dugun and Chaugun.